just about as crazy as a loon.
Softer than a lullaby, deeper than the midnight sky.
Yeah, now
Soulful as a baby's cry.
that's my
Sweet potato pie. I used to see her around the neighborhood. I wonder how she grew up so good. She belonged to Freddie and he was bad, and I never was ready to make him mad. Oh no.
but I'm glad I had to wait a while. A little bit too juvenile. I needed to refine my style. A silk suit, a crocodile smile.
Let the whole damn world go by, 'cause I just wanna testify.
From now on it's me and my sweet potato pie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah now.
my sweet potato pie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love this, I love it.
This is so sweet, yeah, yeah now, baby.
Oh, this girl is all right. Go ahead.
My sweet potato pie now.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. We have our Christmas tree up. Beautiful in person. If you're here, like these guys, you need to see it. And we'll just go to that first. You probably got our holiday party invitation. And if you didn't, we're gonna double check, cross-reference the emails. There was a couple that I think maybe had some typos in it. But it is Friday. Is that up on the screen, Austin?
Yeah, it's up there, but yeah, got it.
Okay, Friday. Friday, December 17th, 7 to 10 at the office. Live music, live band. Peter coordinated it. It's gonna be good. We've got food. We've got drinks. You can bring your significant other. We've got decorations. It'll be a good time. It's been 2 years since we had a holiday party, you guys. So.
This will be my first one.
Okay, RSVP, because they need to know how many margaritas to make.
Will you air freight them, please?
Yes.
Yeah, the comma.
So hopefully we'll see you all there.
Yeah.
We are really excited to be able to celebrate the holidays and celebrate all of your success with you. So do RSVP and let us know if you have any questions. Awesome, let's go to our calendar and just see what else is going on.
Yeah, let's.
We have our very own lovely Beth Castor is teaching Code of Ethics this Wednesday. And that is here in the office and on Zoom. So that class is required, it used to be required every 2 years by NAR, they switched it to every 3 years, but this end of the year is the 3-year cycle. So Austin and Brian have been calling everyone who still needs it, but there was quite a few people on the list. So that should be a great class, and it's amazing to hear it from one of our own agents, Beth, teaching it. So hope to see you guys on there, and yeah,
It'll be good.
And do they need to register?
Yes, so there is a registration link. If I show you right here on our webpage, you can just go register in advance right here. Click on it, it'll take you straight to the registration link. And so this link is going to be for anyone who wants to be in person or on Zoom. So it is a Zoom registration link. We do encourage everyone to come in person so that they can support Beth and get a great experience. And then if anyone does come in person, we're just going to have you guys sign up so you know that you did come in person. We can just ignore the Zoom registration and know that you didn't just like bail on us. But yeah, so just register with this link regardless, but feel free to show up in person so we can support Beth.
And to be clear on this one, because it is a required class, in order to receive the credit for the 3 hours, you do have to have your cameras on the entire time you're on Zoom. So just please keep that in mind because it is a required course.
And you have to be in the class the entire time.
Right, so you actually have to be on paying attention to the code of ethics, which is an important part of our business as real estate agents and realtors. Social media roundtable with Rochelle on Thursday, 11 to 12. So bring any of your questions, ideas, thoughts on anything social media related. Sometimes it goes to TikTok, sometimes it goes to Instagram. I know right now Reels are a big deal, video, all different things. So that's always a great, the business development and the business operations are our PC program classes. We've kind of changed the names of those just because they are open to anyone who is in the growing phases of their business.
None on Wednesday.
Oh, and then on Wednesday.
Not this
Because
Wednesday.
there's no business development
Oh,
or business operations on Wednesday because of code of ethics.
okay. So hopefully if everyone didn't hear that there's no class on Wednesday because of the code of ethics class.
Yeah, it shows up, right, yeah, there's nothing here for this.
Cool. And then there's gonna be no premier meeting next week because it's Thanksgiving. So hopefully everyone will be celebrating that Thursday and Friday with their families. The office staff will be off Thursday and Friday, so the doors will be locked. Obviously you're more than welcome to come in, but just know that the staff won't be here on Thursday or Friday next week, and we won't have team meetings. And just be sure to check the schedule because most other classes probably will be canceled as well. All right, what else? Command Mobile.
Oh, that.
Oh, well, no, family
Let's do this
reunion.
first.
What's
It's
up,
already here.
family reunion? It's cool. Coming in February. So last family reunion was totally virtual. So this upcoming year for 2022, it's coming back to live in person, and there still will be a digital option. So it's going to be in Orlando, February 19th through the 22nd. You can purchase your ticket now. There is not a lot of information out yet, except that that's what it is. If you have never attended family reunion or you don't know what it is an amazing event where, you know, in the past, you know, almost 20,000 Keller Williams agents have gotten together from across the world to collaborate, learn, network, and, you know, it's an incredible experience. It'll be interesting to see how many people come now and how it's structured, but just to collaborate on that level and just learn is a really incredible experience. Bradley, you went to our mini mega camp, right, as a region, and that was kind of like a mini version of like one of these big events. What do you think of even just like going on like a smaller scale event like that?
I think it was really motivational. It was nice to be around a lot of other agents' energy and definitely helped my business by kind of introducing new ideas and seeing what people were doing in other areas to scale their businesses and just kill it.
Yeah, and for those of you on the phone who might not have heard that, you know, Bradley said it was really energizing, and it was great to just hear from others who are, you know, farther ahead in the business, who are scaling their business at bigger levels, and just to know how to grow and learn from them. So imagine that on a bigger level. You know, for Mega Camp, we did a smaller, like regional version on the West Coast. I don't know yet, to be determined, if we're gonna do like a West Coast regional family reunion.
I doubt it.
There hasn't been anything announced, so
They're gonna
probably
push
not.
us to this.
If we can do that.
Probably not, so. Anyways, if anyone wants to go to
It's
Orlando, let us know.
fun.
More information coming soon. We'll probably have a video and a lot more information coming soon, but just save the date.
Everything gives me the idea they're gonna go big on this, because
We
it's the
haven't
biggest
had
real estate
one.
soiree,
It is a big.
not ever, just the biggest soiree,
The-
real estate.
I like the name soiree,
Soiree.
word soiree. Yes.
I have to look that up, but I'm.
I think it's,
Hey, Google.
Hey,
My phone just.
Oh, okay. All right, Austin, what's next? I won't assume. Oh, wait, and I saw Rochelle, you're on. Do you want to say anything about your social media roundtable?
Sorry, I was like, where's the unmute? I don't really have anything to say. Just come and ask questions and I'm happy to help. Or even Filming content ideas. That's too.
Government's listening.
Well, we appreciate you teaching that. So yes, and that is in person only, so hopefully, people will come to that. That's a great one. All right, Austin. Okay, wait, let's just talk about this before we played this video. Command Mobile. So previously we had the Kelly app, and we haven't talked about it a lot lately because it hasn't really been getting any updates because the Command Mobile app has been in development. And Command has been getting a lot of fixes. Basically, the team has just been going back and fixing all the glitches, all the known errors, any tweaks that, people had requested, things were changed, At first, there was a lot of focus on getting enhancements and features out, and then now it was focusing on just like getting everything fixed and working properly and just fine tuning a lot of the things. So the app is in its final stages and will be released the beginning of December. And here is a little video.
what I think is cool about this, I've just been seeing the videos, is like, they always say the best CRM is the one you actually use. And like this app, from what I can see, looks like it's gonna be really effective to use, wherever you are, so you can update your leads on the fly, or you can work within the app on the fly. And that just makes it more usable, right? And more valuable to you because it's free, so.
Right, and it's the Kelly app you already have will just get updated. So you don't need to download another app. So if you have Kelly, keep Kelly. She's gonna go through an update and turn into Command Mobile.
Can you guys hear Tanya on the phone? Give me a thumbs up if you could hear that. Thumbs up.
No.
Okay, so Tanya said that if you have the Kelly app on your phone already, it will automatically, you can do an update and then it'll automatically update into the KW Command Mobile app. So roll the video, Austin. Share your thoughts.
Well, if the app is like a 50th as powerful as that song. And that song is like, I'm having a hard time staying seated, that sounds good, yeah. it's
Profound.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Spectacular.
One less cup of coffee needed, I'll just listen to music.
Just listen to music, yeah, right?
No, it's pretty cool, right? I mean, as agents, you guys are out and about
Yeah.
so much, right? Like you need your tools on the go. So, yeah, Bradley.
When does it actually come into effect?
The like first-ish week of December. They haven't announced an actual date. They said not the 1st of December, but like the first
Yeah, the
week-ish.
beginning.
Yeah,
Nice.
so.
January.
Early Christmas. Day.
We'll run for the sorry
We'll
to
celebrate.
Well, I mean, I think it's, I was just looking at it, like, it looks so much like what Command looks like right now. I mean, it just seems like it'll be really functional. And like, you know, if not on your phone, on an iPad or something like that, it'd be awesome too.
Yeah, we see
Yeah,
that, right,
yeah.
like all our different devices,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because when you open up Command on the web browser on your phone, I mean, you turn it, and some things are really hard to even get to work, so it'll be really great to have it
Mhm,
on the app.
mhm. Like, in my past, I've, done a lot of lead generation, like managing, and updating leads, and it's tedious. So being able to do it while you're sitting in your car waiting for someone to show up is like, it's a big deal, like that
Yeah.
can really make you more effective.
Right.
Totally. Or if you have like some downtime, you have an open house or something,
Yeah.
or you meet
Yeah.
someone and then you just like put their contact
Yeah,
info in.
absolutely, yeah.
So, Linda asked if we're gonna share that video because it was a little hard to see, and yes, we'll post it on our Facebook group, and share that. Oh geez, Austin already shared it.
Good.
Ah, so fast, I love it.
That's quick.
All right, before we go on to the next, I want to congratulate, we have in our region, there is the top 100 was named, and they're gonna have a special call this week, and I just want to give a quick shout out for our solo agents, Rita Wolf, Laura James, and Mike Kaufman. And then for our teams, Commercial Real Estate Northwest, which is Denise Brahowski's team, and the Mark Fox Group, and the Office of Darrell Bodle, and the Clark Group,
Not bad.
all made the top 100 for our region. So that's pretty cool that, 37 market centers in the region, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pretty cool. Good job. All right. And also one of our very own agents, Connie, you guys all get an email. I don't know if you read it, but it's a newsletter from our Northwest region, and it's called The Real Look. And Connie Vera, one of our agents, was featured on the podcast this week. So if you have a chance, check it out. We also posted on the Facebook group, but it was great about how she's managed to be so successful in her first years of real estate. It was really cool. She was interviewed by her region. So check that out, and congratulations, Connie.
Yeah, very nice touching.
Yeah.
Hey, so is that 127? And this is her second full year in the industry, correct?
That is the podcast number 1.
Oh, okay.
She said, well, I was talking with her yesterday, and she said that 2 years ago, I made $25,000 on my
Right.
job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
450,000, I can do the math, it's a lot.
that's a lot
Mhm.
more.
And and if you listen to the podcast, it actually is really beautiful because Connie speaks to the good that money can do, and that she wasn't always money motivated. Because a lot of times people think, well, yeah, like I'm not that money motivated. I want to do something good for the world. And I think it's really cool because she really speaks to the good that money can do. So check that out. You can just look up the Real Look podcast wherever you get your podcast, and it's episode number 127. But it's really cool, and it's really cool to hear about how she speaks about the money.
Do you want to do a 60-second clip?
Oh yeah, you can watch here. There's just like a 30-second little blip of it.
Here, there you go.
The first couple of months, it was rough. I didn't have much money. I actually bought my pre-licensing courses with a credit card. I would go to the dollar store and buy water bottles to give away at the open houses. I felt discouraged at times. I felt like, why isn't it working? No one wants to talk to me at open houses. They think I'm a salesperson. I didn't want to give up. I had no choice. I had to keep going. So I continued. Probably around August, I got my first deal, and I ended up selling 5 homes before the end of the year. So I made it to the Portland Metropolitan Association of Realtors Master Circle, because you had to in order to qualify, you had to sell at least $2 million that year. And I ended up doing it in that last 5 months.
And then, of course, COVID, and that's your first full year, right? 2020.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. The whole podcast is like 39 minutes, but definitely worth listening
That's
to. So congratulations to Connie. We're so proud of you. And thankful to be in business with
So
you.
can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
If you focus your business on serving your clients, don't worry about the money. It will come.
It will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
If money's first, you're gonna make decisions that will impede
Yeah.
progress.
Absolutely.
So true.
Yep.
Especially good to remember. I love that. Josh, hi Josh. Thank you for Yes. Tell us something about mortgages and what's going on in lending.
So thanks for giving me a few minutes here today to chat with you all. It's good to see you before the holiday. There's no meeting next week, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, great. So we're heading into 2022. Right now, inflation is up. You hear a lot about that in the news right now. That's mortgage bonds don't like inflation, so you're seeing rates on the rise as well. So there's a lot of pressures on rates right now, and you're going to see a lot of changes in mortgages coming on next year. So how do we sort of help, plan for that? I know recently you guys had a business planning clinic, I think a couple weeks ago, and I hope everybody or as many people as could attend that. There is a lot of great business planning tools out there and things that are provided, through Keller Williams. You guys and your market center, you guys do such a great job supporting your agents. I'm going to share can I share my screen, Austin?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so we have never sure if I'm doing this right. Okay, so we've got an additional tool. It's not to replace anything that you're already doing for business planning, but to help come alongside and support what you're already doing. A business planning tool that helps you more than anything brainstorm through some of the activities that you could be doing. There's a lot of coaching, a lot of business planning out there, giving you ideas and telling you, here's how things, here are things you could be doing. Well, not every idea is going to be for every person. So people need to step back and think what's going to help them, be successful in this business. So things that work for one successful agent might not necessarily work for another successful agent. So you got to brainstorm, think about all these things and come up with a business plan that's going to, help you. So I have this tool that we put together. It's great to go through, talk about, and I'm just going to pop through it real quick. But again, I'm happy to get with anybody who wants to go through this, brainstorm, help plan a little bit, and build upon the coaching and business planning they're already doing. But this is a guide that helps walk you through sort of, what are the things that you're looking to do in the upcoming year? What are the goals that you have for 2022? And you look at your year in review for, the last year. What are the things that are working good? What are the things that aren't? And what are the things that you need to start doing? Obstacles that are in your way. And then your team that's going to help you succeed, so on and so forth. Pillars of success. It's a whole sort of session that we can walk through and brainstorm together and discuss, okay, here are some things, some action items that I'd like to put into place, put onto paper that are going to help enhance my business planning for next year. Some people may not like doing open houses. Some people may love open houses. So if you're, continually doing open houses, but gosh, you're not getting anywhere with them, maybe there's a reason for that. Either you don't enjoy doing them, or, your approach isn't effective. So, and that's just an example. Some people like making 50 calls a day. Some people just can't stand making 50 calls a day. They'll find any reason not to. So there's a lot of brainstorming that goes into this that allows you to help sort of hone in what it is that you like to do, or things that are going to be effective for you. Let me see here. So here's an example of just some things that we go through. There's tons of different ideas. And a lot of different people are going to say, oh, I do this every day, or I do that every day, or here's what I do. Again, that may work for them. It may not work for you, or it may work for you. You just need some more information on how to make it work for you. So please reach out. We've got some great tools that we're happy to help with. I'm happy to schedule a time individually with folks, or if you guys see some value in this and want to put together a happy hour or something, find somewhere on the schedule to carve out, I'm happy to do that with a group and bring them in and do that as well. I'll throw it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to ask you one question really quick. I saw something one place, but I only saw it one place and then didn't see it somewhere else. I saw someone post something about the jumbo loan limit increasing, but I only saw one lender post that and no one else.
Sure.
What is up with that?
So great question. So right now, the conforming loan limit is still $548,250, right? And that's for 2021. The FHFA, not the FHA, but the FHFA is one who sets those limits that you lend conventionally to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And that's still set at that level. There is some noise out there saying that it's going to get raised to $625,000. And what that is the best guess so far by some lenders who have decided that that's where they think they're going to raise it to. And so as a result, they're starting to underwrite to that. So we are one of those that are able to do that. And so we're able to underwrite now to a $625,000 conventional loan. Now, here's sort of the, catch to that, right? Because there's, no such thing as a free lunch, right? So the idea to that is if the FHFA does not actually raise it to that level, anybody who does loans at that amount over and above what they do end up lending, raising it to, those loans are going to have to be portfolio. They will not be securitized by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So any benefits your borrower may get by having their loans backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, they're not going to get, because they're going to be just a portfolio loan on that lender's balance sheet, which should be fine. But as a result, the lenders who have agreed to do this and start lending now up to that limit, they're doing so, but there are loan level price adjustments to it, meaning rates are going to, and pricing is going to be a little bit higher if you do one of those types of loans that are over the existing loan limit. So yes, you can do it. It makes the underwriting a little easier than doing an actual true jumbo loan, but there's going to be a little bit of a cost to it. And jumbo pricing is really actually pretty good right now. It's not too far off from where conforming lending is, that if somebody qualifies for a jumbo product, then often I'll still look at a jumbo solution versus the conforming, high balance solution right now, unless they need that from an underwriting perspective. So as with all things with lending, when you ask a scenario question, we say, well, it depends. And then we look at sort of the full scenario and go from there. So long-winded answer to your question. So I hope that answered it.
Awesome. No, that did help, because another lender posted like, oh, the limit's like we like 615 or something. And I was like, wait, but it's not. Anyways, that really did answer it. So thank you very much. And if it does change, is it going to change at the first of the year?
Yeah, sometimes they have announced it by now. They just haven't announced it yet. So we're hoping, by, sometime early December, we have sort of that final answer. There's probably a group of folks sitting in a room thinking, gosh, should we go ahead and raise it to 625 since people are doing that already, or do we not want to? So hopefully we have that answer soon.
Thanks, Josh. I have to say, I find these, I don't know about you guys, I find these little snippets so powerful. Like, gives us so much information. My friend Pete over here said something to me yesterday, I thought was really profound, it's like, sales is answering the objections before the customer even knows what they are. And so here's Josh giving us all this information about how our clients may fit into a loan package that could get us a deal where the client just thinks, oh, I just 30-year fix, that's what I got. But there's all these other packages, all these other deals out there, all these great products that if we know a little bit about, we can point in the right direction and get deals done that we maybe wouldn't have got done anyway. So Josh, thank you for the information. Go long, I love it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. We appreciate it. Awesome. So let's talk about pricing. And we have our pricing expert here with us.
He was late. He'll be here soon.
No, he's here. And, so looking at, it kind of goes in line with what Josh was talking about as our markets shifted and prices are not, things aren't, houses aren't flying off the shelf like they were. I just looked at this week's price decreases. And in Portland, 38% of the houses on the market have had a price decrease. And Lake Oswego, it's 40%. So pricing matters more now, right? So I was talking about this with Kelly yesterday, and he was saying that he's seen a lot more. I was like, I don't know what I was saying. He's seen a lot more counters coming back.
Like way more counter offers than we've seen in a long time. And that kind of made me think about an experience you told me about, Peter, about how he kind of negotiated with his client. Let's say negotiated, I don't know if that's really the right word, but to get a deal done in their best interest. It was, if you could share that experience, I think that'd be great.
Sure. Love to. But for those of you who are new to the business, it's not always been negotiating a transaction hasn't always been picking which of the 15 offers is the highest one. And we're going back to that. And so basically, we had a deal, we have a listing out in the Boring area at $1,102,250. It was under contract at 4 o'clock on the day of closing. Got a call from the title company saying that they couldn't get the buyers to sign. The buyer's financing was pulled at 4 o'clock the day of closing, so I had to call my sellers who were in the driveway after spending $7,000 to get an expedited mover because their mover didn't show up, and had all their family and friends putting their last boxes in there, and I had to tell them the deal had fallen through. Got it under contract shortly thereafter, 2 weeks before close, was contingent on the close of the buyer's home. They lost their buyer, and so I had to tell them a second time that the transaction had failed. If you get to that point where you've got that kind of listing, you never want to get to the point that I just talked about, but it was not our fault or the seller's fault. So we get a third offer, and it's $1 million, $250,000 under asking. So what I always have based my business on is telling my sellers that, number one, there's no such thing as a bad offer. It's just that some are a whole lot better than others. And the second one is that as the seller, the only way we know we didn't leave something on the table is if we are not the ones to back away from the table. In other words, we will continue to counter until we either get a deal or the buyer says no. Then we know, I know representing my seller, in this case, could be a buyer, it switches, but that we did everything we could to get it done. So the offer comes in, and I tell my client, no such thing as a bad offer. Here's it. And I kind of laughed a little bit with the buyer's agent saying you can't be serious, but thanks for the offer, I'll present it. And I did get the seller to counter. He countered $25,000 off of asking at $1,225,000, and said, which I shared with the buyer's agent, I'll wait till next spring. I'll wait for the next cycle. I don't care. He's already moved. He's already in Indiana somewhere. House is empty. He's not stressed. I made sure, distressed, I made sure that the buyer was aware of that. So they came back at $1,125,000. And I went to the seller and said, okay, we're at $1,125,000. He said, here's my bottom line. My bottom line is, well, he came back at $1,200,000. He found an extra, and the buyer found an extra 25,000. And so now we're getting close. But my buyer's done, my seller's done. And I appreciate that. And I said, I agree with you 100%. Then I said in an email, I'm gonna just take a minute and read it. I said, the buyers scaped together now 25,000, so we're at $1,175,000. I understand, we're not doing it. I'm good with that. Let's just move on. Okay. That is in my seller's best interest. Then I said in this email, my job is to share my expertise and market knowledge so you can make informed decisions. I'm not suggesting, by the way, that you do something. I'm just telling you this. I said, so in order to do this for you, I've updated my analysis on your home. The results indicate that the market has shifted a bit, and I want you to be aware of it in case it impacts your perspective. Part of the shift is expected as normal seasonality, and the rest is because the pandemonium subsided in the middle of summer. Okay. That's my opening. Right. I'm not asking him to come back. I'm just saying, okay, now that we're moving on, here's where we are. There were 5 active listings when I did this. There were actually 8 active listings, but 3 of them were new construction, and they were proposed, so I took them out of my analysis.
Yeah.
This is a country property. You can't see this. So the first thing I put on this email was a picture of the active pendings and solds that were comparable on a map. There's a thing called RMLS that says map checked listings. And Portland is here, and he's over here, and all of the comps are between him and Portland's. So they're all closer in. Did I say that? I didn't have to. It's there. So I looked at the active listings and I said, by the way, the average size of the 5 listings we're competing against is 4,800 square feet. You're just over 5,000. Included with your home included, when I took their home out of the analysis, because they were one of the 5, the average size of the competitors were at 5,000 square feet. But we're at, I think, what were we? 3,900. So they're 20% bigger. And I said, oh, by the way, assuming everything's exactly the same, finishes, topography, lot size, blah, 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 it suggests your home's worth $1,040,000. And oh, by the way, the average size of these lots are over an acre larger than yours. Just information. I said, so let's look at the, and I said, when we remove your home from the analysis, your value drops down to $1 million. Statistically, not taking into account your beautiful home and the outbuilding and the ADU and all of this stuff. And I actually wrote that in there too. I said, so let's look at the pending sales, which are our best indication where the market is. They average 4,400 square feet on 8 acres, which puts your house at about $1.2 million, not adjusting for the fact that you have 3.6 fewer acres than they do, or that their homes are 500 plus square feet large. And so, and by the way, all of these pending sales, one of them had a fail sale. And by the way, I also pointed out in the active listings that none of the active listings other than you has even ever had an offer. And this is how long we've been on the market. And then we got down to the sold listings. And so, okay, there's 6 homes that closed in the last 3 months. They averaged 5,000 square feet in size. They closed for $1,265,000 on 5.84 acres. And they were built in 2008, and we were not. Anyway, so basically, it suggested that his home was still just north of $1 million. And I said, so that's the RMLS data. Days on market, average size of the home you're competing against, in this case, acreage, and age. Then I said, but that's, that's all statistics. So here's a link to Cloud CMA, our next tool. So please take a moment, just if you want to, if you choose to, go to this link and compare your home to the ones we're competing against. I didn't say we're better or worse. I just said, take a walk. Basically, my term I usually use, if you've got a minute, just take a walk in the buyer's shoes and see what's out there. So now I've set basically what's come on the market, what's happened to them. Just the fact that they're there isn't good enough if you're going to achieve my goal, which was I was hoping was going to come back and say, well, wait a minute, we need to do something. I need to look, I had to go into the history of those homes and see whether they had any offers, if they've ever been back on the market, how long they've been. And by the way, if you go into RMLS and you rely on days on the market, you're missing the mark. Cumulative days on the market is what you're looking for, and you need to go into the history to find that. And these guys, I can't read my, print this out so small, but the average days on the market of the active listings was 100. That's a long time. The average days of the closed sales was 64, and the pending sales, one was on the market 2 days, the other one was on the market for 128. So this is not something I expect my seller to be able to pull out. This is something I need to relay to him to let them make informed decisions. So we've kind of got all that there. Now the question is, what's our environment? What is the market doing? And by the way, I missed one of my most important points up front. If I don't believe I've ever spoken to a seller in my 40 plus years in this business and said, I think you need to do a price reduction. What I've always said, and you must say, is the market is indicating that we need to make an adjustment. It is never me. None of us in this business as individual agents ever can dictate what's going on in the market. The market dictates pricing. So you've got to do it that way. So anyway, so now we've kind of got, I've given him information that says, hey, all the homes are bigger. They've got more acreage. They're a little bit newer, like 10 years. But that's just the data. So what is our environment? We have this tool called Altos, which Ray mentioned. And so the next part of my email was that, okay, so the following are market stats for boring this week. And we've used Case-Shiller for years around here. Case-Shiller is minimally 2 months behind. Case-Shiller thinks that the market average appreciation for this year is going to be 14% or better. It will come in at 10% or less because they're behind the times. But Altos is either weekly or monthly, and it is by zip code, city, or whatever. So my next one is I showed the two things that I thought were important for him to understand. The first one is the number of properties with price reductions. And Altos does everything by market segment. And so the two market segments were 974 and 1,000,006. So he's somewhere in there. So I priced both of them. Corinne mentioned that like Lake Oswego, Portland was up to 30 some odd %. Well, the upper end here was up to 45%. By the way, is that, the sky is falling? No. In a normal market, average 30 to 35% of every home that comes on the market incurs a price reduction before they get an offer. And that's based solely on the fact that your seller's home is worth more than a comparable home next door just because it's your seller. That's how they think. And so they come in high and they come down. And most people, including another similar story that I have, we won't have time for probably, but they're back in April and May. And when the pandemic pandemonium was at a peak. And if you look at these stats, you can see that time frame clearly on it. So I showed him the price reductions, and it went like up in his market. Didn't say anything. That's just what's happening. I said part is seasonal, but it still indicates a shift in the market. Then the second piece was price per square foot, and it kind of looked like Mount Hood. It peaked in May, and it was $1 bazillion. And then it's now back down to essentially wiped out all the gains back to the 2019 price point in that market. Just two charts, very clear.
Okay, we're gonna take a 5-second pit stop. Austin just says he's gonna
Okay.
unplug the mic to move it closer.
Yeah, watch this. Okay, ready? Guys, we're gonna have no sound for like 10 seconds, promise. Just 1 sec. Ready? Go. There you go. Can you guys hear us?
Back on?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Now we can get it
Now
really
you're
close.
loud.
So would you like me to start over?
Yeah.
No, it was fine. It was like I went in there and it just was a little.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So there you go.
So we've got the comps, active pending solds, and I have helped him understand the differences in home size, home age, and in this case, acreage. And again, and then given him the tool through Cloud CMA to walk through those houses and make his own decision or their own decision about where they fit in that deal. And the last piece of the puzzle was, so that's a market today where we're going. Well, the major potential impact on a market is interest rates. And basically what I said was the last thing I'll mention is that interest rates are rising slowly, but mid-year this year, everybody said they wouldn't be doing this until 2023. And then towards the end of summer, it was, well, maybe it's going to happen in 2022. Maybe we're moving that up. And by fourth quarter, lo and behold, interest rates are moving. And I said, my usual soapbox stuff is if interest rates rise 1%, say from 3 to 4, a buyer loses about 12% of their borrowing power. So if they qualify to borrow 800 at 3%, they can only borrow 704,000 at 4%. This will dramatically shrink our buyer pool and put pressure on prices. And that's all I say. Basically, it says all this is saying that things are changing, and while we anticipate a good 2022, it may not necessarily be as good as this one. Now, I thought this all important to share. As from my perspective, it makes the current offer more attractive. That's as aggressive as I got. They can close quickly, and they're indicating they may not need an appraisal. And I sent it off. This was Saturday, I think Saturday morning. Well, the buyer's agent started texting me midday going, what did you hear? What did you hear? And I told him absolutely nothing. And I will not be calling the seller for at least 24 hours. It's a tactic in our business. Everybody is moving very quickly. And one of the things that as the market normalizes, hopefully over experience you will learn, is that an immediate response is very seldom the best one. That you need to provide the information, and then you need to let the buyer or the seller have time to think about it. And over time and throughout the course of a transaction, everybody's perception of that deal changes. You can't stop it, and in most cases you don't want to. So I didn't call him that day and say, did you get my email? I waited until about 3 o'clock on Sunday. And I called and I texted him and said, I'm gonna call you later today just to see if you had any questions about what I provided. So I called him and he said, well, you made some good points. Why don't we go down another 25,000? So the deal came together at $1,175,000. In my view, way ahead of what he should expect, but that's what we are. So I guess the point is that we have all these tools. We have the RMLS. You need to interpret it for your clients. We have Cloud CMA, just one example, which will allow your buyers or your sellers to understand after the statistics comes the condition, the location, the lots, and so on. And then, we've got things like Altos to put it in perspective in the current market. And if you know about interest rates, that's the other piece. I had a listing that we listed before the fires last year, over a year ago now. We listed it at 650 and then they were impacted by the fires. And so we haven't heard from them much for about a year, almost a year and a half. And all of a sudden, we got a call and these guys are ready to go. And we need a pricing update. Well, this is a house at the end of about 3 miles of gravel road, which in the seller's mind is 3 miles of privacy, okay, on four acres with about a 30% slope, which because in the seller's mind, because it's at the end of a private 3 mile gravel road, makes his sloped lot equivalent to a flat lot. And the barn that you need to have cleats on to get down to exists, which also makes his better. And basically that's kind of his perspective. And the house, they have a number of kids, they homeschool. It was not Street of Dreams quality or even close. But so I said, okay, well, was it 650? I did some comps, suggested that the market might allow it to go up to around 700. So I sent him some comps between 600 and 800, my usual. I did my apples to apples. Then I did, well, here's the price range and provided the data and sent it back to him, suggesting that maybe depending upon my visit to his house to see what the condition currently was, we may be able to increase it from where we were a year ago. So didn't hear from him. He called Alex and he told Alex, he says, I don't think Peter's very excited about selling our home. And Alex said, well, of course we are. We've been calling you, been talking to you every week and by the way, Alex had been talking to him every week for the last year and a half. And going back to the negotiated price reductions, second big point I meant to start with was that if that's your first call to a seller after 4 or 5 weeks, you don't stand a chance in heck of getting through there. Every week you need to be talking to your sellers. You need to have established conversations and a rapport so that when you do bring them information, they can do it. But anyway, back to my thing. So finally he sent me an email back and he says, so many words, I think you would find more comps if you would have looked up to $1 million. Because we've been watching the market and most of the stuff around us is selling in the mid 800s or higher. And so would you should do that. And here's 2 comps that have sold recently. One of them was a 2018 built single level on 2 manicured flat acres close to town. The other one was a Street of Dreams quality 3 level on 10 acres flat. So I went back knowing this guy and I wrote another encyclopedia going through the same thing. I said, well, basically here's why I sent you 600 to 800,000. This is what your house is. This is the age, all of this stuff. So basically I did the same thing. I gave them the comps. I gave them the ability to walk through those comps. And I said, in kind of bold print at the end, you need to take a walk in the buyer's shoes. And he came back and said, didn't work out exactly as I hoped, but he came back and he said, we've got to hold off for 2 weeks. I need to remodel the bathrooms. Ain't gonna do it. And he said, and then he called Alex and says, yeah, we're really going down this path until Peter said I needed to take a walk in the buyer's shoes. So I did. And we'll wait and see where it comes out. But again, this is a year and a half Alex has had, I haven't talked to him, but Alex talked to him every week. We're leaving him a message every week with every one of our sellers. And when you have that rapport and it's time for price reductions, which are going to be a critical part of your business, as well as maybe only one offer on a listing, and it will probably be not at full price, you're going to have to learn to use the tools that we all provide for you. And it's a real simple process, and it's easier when you have communication lines that have been established and you have a rapport.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and what I love about that story is like none of what you talked about is rocket science. Like it took time to do it, but it was very professional, very laid out. And we're not salespeople, we're consultants, and we have all this information at our fingertips. And if you trust your client to be reasonable and see what you see, all you do, you just have to show them. And then they'll make the right decision, I believe, right?
But it comes across a lot more professional and a lot more convincing to your clients when you're saying, here are all the facts. And wait, hold on. I want to just show a quick thing of Peter cuts and pastes with my show. He cuts and pastes all that stuff that he was saying is cut and pasted. I don't know if you can see all those graphs, all those charts are cut and pasted in there. And I was just looking at that one of the square price per square foot. It really is like that. So if you're looking at that, you're like, oh, whoa, that one really tells that story of okay, so when my friends were all bragging about how much they got for their house, that was then and this is now, right? That is very important. And that's really hard to respond back to, to defend against, right? How do you come back against that? You're like, yeah, those are the facts, right?
We have built our business on a tagline, we are the real estate advisors. We are not salespeople, we are consultants, and our job is to share our expertise to allow you to make the best decision for you. And if you do that, we've talked about this earlier, you do that and the transactions and therefore the commission checks become. And we still, when you do it correctly, you'll be the 6% guys and earn it versus the 4% guys who don't have anything to offer other than I'm a better deal, which they are not, because we will sell your home for more than they will ever do it. But that's the philosophy. If we ever want to do a class and sit down and I'll walk through this in detail, I've got a couple other stories that go with it. I think I'll write a book. I'll keep saying that.
Well, and you think about too, that email probably took you a good deal of time to put together, but how much money was it? How much money was it worth?
But based on that email, I was making $15,000 an hour.
Perfect. Right. When you think of it like that, how much is it worth to get that offer accepted? Right.
Right. Well, and it's also, this touches on what we were talking about earlier, that you focus on being good at your job, focus on helping people, the money will take care of itself. It's taking care of Peter pretty well. And so
Alex has got it.
And the other part about this is, when you're going to your clients and asking for a price reduction, you have to have stayed in contact with them, but you've also had to deliver, right? If you said that I'm going to do this, this, and this, then if you haven't done that, and that, the first thing they're going to ask you when you ask for a price reduction is, well, how's it going? What about the marketing effort you said you were going to do? If you haven't done that, if you haven't followed through on that, or it was sloppy, or it didn't get done in time, you're behind the 8 ball when you're asking to help them.
Yeah.
So
share 45 years of experience in a couple of sentences. When we are asked to come in as the second realtor, which will start happening on a regular basis as the market normalizes, people will get upset. We always ask the same question. Why are we here? And they say, well, our house didn't sell. And we go, well, yes, clearly we understand that, but why didn't it sell? 90+% of the time, the answer is, we don't know. We didn't ever heard from a realtor and we have no idea what they did. So our business is based on communication, and we have systems in place that automatically email every time a marketing event happens, when it gets posted to Facebook, or the flyer goes out, or the brochure is completed, or all of these. And we make sure that we will hopefully never be the realtor that the second person comes in and our clients say, we have no idea. If they know what you're doing and are up to date, you're never going to hear, well, maybe never, you probably won't hear, my favorite thing is, our house would have sold if you just had a better flyer. And if you haven't been in the business long enough to hear that one, get ready for it, because it's the best.
Awesome. Jen Schroeder says, great info. Thanks, Peter, for sharing. Does anyone have any questions just before we wrap it up for Peter? Peter, always a wealth of knowledge on all things pricing, among other things. You should come on these more often.
I know something about tequila too.
You have to come to the holiday party to find out that.
That's true.
Yes. So thanks everyone for joining, and have a great day, and come tomorrow and see Beth. Hi, Beth. Thanks for coming tomorrow to teach the class on Code of Ethics, but come here tomorrow and see Beth.
Is it Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I wrote Thursday.
I'm like, what day is it? Don't confuse me like that. Tomorrow. Thanks, guys.